Welcome into the Dead Arm Sports Podcast. It's your boy, Jell, flying solo here today on a bright, beautiful, extremely hot Tuesday evening. Bringing in to you guys a Just Jellin episode of the Dead Arm Sports Podcast. Our co-host and beloved partner, Josh, is feeling a little bit under the weather today. So, here, if you know anything about audio or about podcasting, and clearly you know a little bit about it because you're probably listening to this, audio is a little bit important. It's something that is necessary, and you want that high. You definitely want that high level of quality of audio, and coughing leads to lower quality audio. So pretty straightforward decision here. But hey, Jell's here for you, and we're gonna rock a solo episode. Keep that content flowing for all you Dead Arm Sports listeners. Got a little bit of Pga Tour action to throw your way. Obviously, wrapped up the Open Championship this past weekend. Congratulations, Cameron Smith, the Aussie oxen free. and then we'll also get you some MLB action. Gonna get you some mid-season awards as we are on the currently in the All-Star break. Again, recording live on a Tuesday, so actually recording during the MLB All-Star game. It's ongoing right now. So gonna make sure we get you a little bit of a wrap-up of the first half and some of the top performers, how I feel how some of these players are going to end up finishing the season, get you some Rookie of the Year, some Cy Young, and some MVP candidates, my leaders, my predictions to finish off the season. And then additionally, Juan Soto, again, in the news. This guy with his contract issues, him and the Nationals just absolutely not on the same page, but we will be diving into that a little bit later in the episode. But of course, I got to kick off this episode with the classic question of the day. So, what's worse? And this is a baseball related question. So, to give this question a little bit of little bit of background, and I've told this story on a previous episode, so I'm not going to go as deeply into it as I had in the past, but I was at a baseball game. I was at a White Sox game. I was in Chicago on a work trip. The Cubs were out of town, so I couldn't go to a game at Wrigley. So I went to a White Sox game, and went to an evening game. Don't remember who they were playing. Don't really remember the result of the game. It was a few years back, and let's be honest, it was a middle of the week game with the White Sox when they still were irrelevant, basically, and so I just went to the game for fun. I wanted to check out the field, Guaranteed Rate Stadium. I don't even know if that's still what it's called, but moving past that, I was there rocking my Carlos Gomez Brewers jersey, of course. And, so second deck, maybe halfway, right field line, maybe halfway between first base and that. And I had a ball that came straight to me. It was an absolute heater. It was a freaking rocket. Think about how far away I was from the field, from home plate at that time. And so this ball came to me hard. I mean, I'm not saying we're talking 100 miles an hour, but it was a good probably 80 miles an hour. Goofy angle. But it comes right at me, maybe 2 feet above my head. I reach up with my left hand to grab it, to catch it. Of course, I only reach up with one hand. Baseball instincts here with thinking I got a glove on. If I had a glove on, easy catch, money. But no glove, reach up, bare hand, left hand, bounces straight off me, goes a few rows back. Somebody else ends up with the ball. I got these high schoolers or maybe seniors in high school, maybe early college aged kids. They're yelling, "Oh, Gomez." They've been heckling me a little bit the whole game. It was all in good fun, but they're yelling, "Ah, Gomez, you suck. You suck." And I turn around, we're all laughing, having a good time. But So there's that. That's one half of the question. The other half of the question, so that is, what's worse, that having a ball go straight at you and it coming and you missing the catch, bounces off your hand, goes elsewhere, you get heckled a little bit, or, and this comes from a story from a coworker who was at a Rangers game, and so he was, you know, he was sitting pretty good seats, a few rows behind the dugout, the right field dugout or first base dugout, and he goes and he leaves to go get a round of drinks. I'm presuming beers, and so he goes, gets up, leaves, goes get drinks. Pop up while he's gone, very catchable, I would assume, comes down and it hits his seat, his empty seat that he was sitting in, and bounces and ends up in someone else's hand. That's what the group that he was with told him. Everybody missed it. It landed and hit his seat and bounced the other way. So my question is, what's worse? Missing that ball that goes straight to you, having it bounce off your hand, or that pop-up foul ball that literally would have landed in your lap, but you weren't there because you were going out and grabbing refreshments? I have to go with scenario 2 here. I don't know. The amount of, I mean, look, I'm a grown man. A baseball at a baseball game, catching a baseball at a baseball game, it's one thing. But the cool opportunity that you would have is being able to catch that ball, give it to a little kid, and make their day, and, you know, maybe their month, maybe their week that much better. Something that they can hang on to for the next however many years for the rest of their lives. That's the cool part about catching a baseball as an adult, is having the opportunity to be able to offer that to another kid. And I don't know, I would have been beating myself up a little bit for going and grabbing those refreshments, but what are you going to do? I mean, you know, when you are in need for a refreshment, you got to go get one, and timing isn't always going to be perfect. So I'd have a little bit of regret there, but that's the question of the day. That's my response. Let me know what you guys think. We're on. You can let me know. Let me have it. Give me, if you want to agree with me or disagree. Let me know on Twitter or Instagram at Dead Arm Sports. We've also got a Facebook page. Just search Dead Arm Sports. We're also live on YouTube right now. Just go into that search bar, search Dead Arm Sports. You'll find our channel. Hit that subscribe button, and then also make sure you hit that little bell up in the upper right-hand corner. Ding! And you will get alerts when we go live, whenever any new video is being cranked out right now. Our chat box is live right now, live and in color. So, you know, feel free to hop in right now if you are a subscriber and are getting these, these alerts. Josh, you going to hop into this chat box and send me a question, send me a little feedback? Think you got to. But I'm going to kick it off. Well, tee it off, I suppose, with a little PGA Open Championship recap. You know, I want to touch on 4 guys right off the bat, but of course, got to tip the cap to Cameron Smith. He wins this tournament with a ridiculous back 9 on Sunday, finishes with a 20 under. His first 5 holes on that back 9 he finished those holes with 5 straight birdies. Ridiculous. Didn't really seem like he had much of a chance up until that point, and ultimately putting is what gave him the win this weekend. I mean, and if it weren't for his Friday afternoon score being so, or I guess afternoon out in Scotland where the tournament was hosted, but his Friday score of a +1, if he had even maintained a score below par here, he would have walked away with this tournament. Thursday 5 under, Thursday 5 under, Friday that 1 over par. Thursday was 5 under. Friday was 8 under. His Saturday, that was the round that kind of, he got off the rails a little bit, ended up 1 over. And then Sunday finished 8 under. And to bring that total score to 20 under, again, 5 straight birdies to start off the back 9. That's what ended up winning him that tournament with by just that 1 stroke. The other thing that you got to consider here is, he ended up really jumping a ton of guys to get to this number 2 spot now in the FedEx Cup standings. It's him and Scottie Scheffler neck and neck. He's got wins now at the Players Championship and here at the and here at the Open Championship in Scotland from St. Andrews. Those are 2 massive tournaments. The Players Championship is effectively, it's not technically a major, but it's effectively a 5th major out there. If you want to, consider it, it's just that highly regarded as a tournament. So really impressive entire season for Cam Smith, but 7 top 10 finishes on the year, and now sitting there, him and Scottie Scheffler at 1 and 2 in the FedEx Cup standings. When Josh is back, we'll get more into kind of how we think things are going to shape out for the rest of the season, who we think should be the PGA Tour champion or the quote unquote MVP player of the year within the PGA. Once he gets back, we'll discuss that, but obviously a hell of a week for Cameron Smith and getting his first, he's had a few runner-ups in majors in the past, but getting his first really true signature win in his career for the Open Championship. I am also drinking. I forgot to mention my drink of the episode. It is a Miller Lite, so I'm going to take a quick sip here and wet these taste buds. Moving on to another player that needs to be touched on, and we're going to touch on him anytime that he plays in a tournament, but that's Tiger. He did end up missing the cut this week. And after that Saturday round, both rounds over par, we kind of knew both his Thursday and Friday rounds over par. We kind of knew after the Thursday round how it was realistically going to end up with, and it was, writing was on the wall that he was going to miss the cut, but he did say after this round that he thinks this very well may be his final time playing in the Open Championship at St. Andrews. He was pretty heartbroken about it, a little bit. I mean, you could hear it in his voice. You could see it in his face that this means something to him, and this particular course means a ton to him, and for him to be effectively admitting that this could be the last time that he plays. Now, it's not like this will be the last time he plays this course in his life, but for the stakes of what he calls the British Open, OG, shout out there, calling it the British Open. But yeah, I mean, he was pretty emotional, and it was a little bit heartbreaking to really think about, because he has obviously been such a stalwart for the game, and for him to be emotional like that, it's he understands his struggles. He knows his body better than anybody, and I wonder if he may be thinking, God damn, the writing is on the wall. I don't want to be done here. I want to keep competing in these major championships. I want to be competing on the PGA Tour for however many more years. I mean, he's 46 years old, so let's be realistic about how much longer this is going to go, considering you've got guys now, Cameron Young, who we'll touch on in just a little bit, 25 years old, and he's driving. I mean, this guy's driving the ball like crazy. So he does kind of see the writing on the wall that his career is slowly but surely coming to a close. And, St. Andrews is a very hallowed course. It's the first ever site of golf in the world. It's the first golf course ever created in the world. It is the home of golf. And that's why this means a lot to Tiger. Just a little bit heartbreaking to see him clearly heartbroken in this setting. And But hey, I mean, we've all been amazed and surprised at how he's been able to come back from, post that car accident that honestly, A, could have potentially killed him, and B, there were genuine thoughts that his leg may need to be amputated because of how severe those injuries were. So thankfully, he's not in that type of a position, and that's something that does kind of make him superhuman. But the emotion that he showed after this round is what also at the same time shows me that he is human. He's not a superhuman. He is human. He's just like the rest of us in that sense, in the sense that we can all kind of see the end coming when it comes to our own sports, whether it's our last game in high school, whether it's that's the most relatable thing for me. And that was always emotional, last game in high school of any sport, but in particular for me personally, my last baseball game, it's just always emotional. And you could kind of, the writing was on the wall for me. And I wonder if he's kind of feeling that reality that the writing may be on the wall for him the rest of his career. And, just what his future holds professionally and personally. I did touch just now on Cameron Young, and I want to keep talking about him. He ended up finishing second this week. This guy can drive the ball like crazy. Like I said, he's only 25 years old, former PGA Rookie of the Year, still no career wins to his name on the PGA Tour, which this one has to sting because this could have very realistically been, his first PGA Tour win of his career. I mean, we've seen him all season in that upper tier of the leaderboard. And I mean, let me just read off some of these results. Tied for second at the Genesis Invitational, tied for third at the RBC Heritage. His next tournament that he participated in, tied for second at the Wells Fargo Championship. His next tournament he played in, tied for third at the PGA Championship, and now finishing second in the Open Championship. That is just so much. It reminds me of Will Zalatoris just getting that damn close. And both him and Zalatoris, both in their mid-20s, both young guys, and eventually they're going to crack through. But Cameron Young, impossible to not be impressed with the way that this guy played this week. I mean, like I said, he can drive the ball like crazy, and that makes you playable at any course. So far this season, he's second off the tee in shots gained off the tee. Obviously, he's got to work on, his approach shots and around the green shots, where he ranks 102nd in the world and 91st in the world, at least based on this season's results. But you can always work to clean that kind of stuff up. And if you can drive the ball, anything is possible. I mean, I think that there's no reason that this guy won't be a major champ in the hopefully near future. I mean, yeah, it takes a lot to become a major champion because most major champs are the best players in the world. But Cameron Young is very quickly getting into that, he's getting into that territory amongst the best players in the world, and second on tour in shots gained off the tee. That's something that is going to be playable hopefully for him for the next decade. And in that span of time, you've got 40 over the next 10 years, you got 40 majors that you're going to be participating in, assuming health and assuming he continues to play well and get invites to these tournaments. But I feel like we've absolutely got an American future major champion in Cameron Young. It's just, how is he going to be able to finish this off? Or at least these major, not only the majors, but also your regular PGA events. He's just got to close. And I think it's happening. Just a quick sip there. Don't have Josh over here to take some take a little time from me to speak, so I don't have any time to wet the taste buds, wet these lips. But so that was that pause here. Let's move into Rory Mcilroy. Totally in the driver's seat pretty much all weekend, sitting there in third place after day one, right there after day two. Day three played again magnificently, and then at the turn on Sunday, he had a 2-3 stroke lead over Cam Smith and Cameron Young, and it looked like he was in the driver's seat. I mean, would have been kind of a storybook ending for Rory. He hasn't won a major since 2014. He's had 2 runner-ups in the past with since 2014, and now finishing in third. It felt like the writing was on the wall this weekend, though, for him to finally get it. You know, kind of been he's really been the face of golf this season in terms of, you know, not being very against the LIV Tour, very pro PGA. He's been quite outspoken. And given that he's from Northern Ireland, the entire, most of that crowd was sitting there rooting for Rory to, while not technically in his homeland, he's over on that side of the pond, grew up on that side of the pond, made a name of himself on that side of the pond, the other side of the Atlantic. And it felt like this storybook ending to the season in the final major of the season. And he just wasn't able to get it done. I mean, this guy, he could not make a putt. He finished this tournament with 38 straight holes where he 2-putted. He could not make a freaking putt to gain a stroke to save his life. And that's what, that's a lot of time. This is simply put, putting can kill you. Rory finished this weekend 59th in putts. Cameron Smith finished second. That's all you need to know about how, the reason why Cameron Smith won and why Rory didn't is this putt is just Rory's inability to make putts. Yeah, he plays a really clean, really pretty game. And if you need to bet on anybody to, just always play solid, Rory's about as safe of a bet as there is on the tour. But man, you got to make putts to be able to win tournaments, especially to be able to win majors. And it just didn't, it didn't happen this week. It hasn't, and he hasn't won one since 2014. That's 8 years ago. Rory's too damn good of a player for there to be that big of a gap in winning a major. He's too damn solid of a player, an ambassador for the PGA Tour. And I was rooting for Rory for the storybook ending, but also on top of that, for my own pocketbook. Big sigh before we get into this, because I had a good chance this weekend to win a ton of money, and Rory ended up really kind of screwing the pooch a little bit. I had Rory as the first round leader at plus 2,000. That would have been a really nice chunk of change into the old Ellis bank account. But just finished behind Cameron Smith and Cameron Young. Not a shocker after day one. Cam Smith, Cam Young, Rory Mcilroy are your top 3, and that's how it finished out to finish off the tournament. But if he would have made, I gain a couple strokes in that first round from Rory. Maybe that's the difference, in him winning the entire tournament, but also me winning that first round bet. I also had Rory in here as my overall tournament winner at plus 900. And I started counting my cash, man. I'm not going to lie. I started counting my cash after the first 9 holes on Sunday. And then, as mentioned, Cameron Smith just fucking rocks my world, rocks all of golf's world with 5 straight birdies to start the back 9 on Sunday. Rory can't make a clutch putt to save his life, to save his tournament, and could not make a clutch putt to save my pocketbook. So ended up getting an L on that one as well. However, overall this weekend, I did end up being a winner here. Good old Victor Hovland, the Norwegian, coming in clutch. I had a small wager on him to be the top finishing continental European. That includes, so continental European is defined as Europe, not including the UK or Northern Ireland, as they are islands. So Northern Ireland, as they are islands. That's a fun one to little tongue twister there for your boy Jell. But I did end up cashing in here. Favorite in that bet was John Rahm, who continues to piss the bed. Shocker there. But so even with my 2 losses on Rory, and I also had a loss on Hideki Matsuyama finishing as the top Asian player. He wasn't even close. He got smoked. Sung Jae Im kind of took him to the woodshed, behind the woodshed, if you will. But so I ended up being a winner there. However, on that Hovland bet, between me and Josh's Drew Lock picks, and we will discuss these on the next episode that Josh joins us. He effectively took me to the woodshed, behind the woodshed, and raped me pretty royally. And it was a rough weekend for your boy Jell. No warm beer chug this during this episode because I'm waiting for Josh on that one. But overall, okay weekend for the pocketbook, not an okay weekend for my Drew Locks. But I will also say I did get my my favorite fade of the week in Justin Thomas. That was correct. He ended up finishing 16 shots back of the leader. So if you wasted your money on Justin Thomas, you should have probably listened to the Dead Arm Sports podcast and your boy Jell. Moving into a little bit of baseball talk. Just, we're here at the Midsummer Classic. Home Run Derby just wrapped up yesterday. Again, we're recording live on a Tuesday. Home Run Derby wrapped up on Monday. Juan Soto being the winner of the Home Run Derby, but damn, Julio Rodriguez put on a show, absolutely destroyed him in terms of total number of home runs. But with the bracket formula, Juan Soto did end up beating him in the championship round. And I mean, that guy's got about the easiest swing that is possibly out there. Some additional Juan Soto news, though. He reportedly turned down a 15-year, $440 million offer from the Washington Nationals. And at this point, Washington is reportedly willing to seek a trade for Soto, knowing that he's only got 2 more years left on his contract before he hits free agency, and knowing that they can get an absolute haul back for Juan Soto. I still think it was a little bit of a pretty weak offer, though, from the Nationals. I mean, if Soto were to take that deal, yes, it's $440 million fully guaranteed, but he would have still ranked 20th in the MLB in average base salary per season. Plus, it was a very backloaded deal. So he's not really going to be seeing a ton of that money up front. Yeah, it's $440 million, but you're stuck in an organization for 15 years, an organization that also has let Trey Turner go, Bryce Harper go. Yeah, they signed Steven Strasburg, but that's turned out to be a disaster given his injury history. And they let Max Scherzer go too. So right now, the Nationals are not a team that would sell me if I was a player. I mean, yeah, $440 million is really nice, but that's not enough to get me to really feel like I need to stick around a losing organization and a team and an organization that I feel is underpaying him. Again, 20th in the MLB for, average salary per year. It is crazy to think that $440 million over 15 years would rank 20th in the league. in the majors in average salary per season, but this guy's worth more. I think he's worth that. I think he's going to be the first player to get a $500 million contract, unless Shohei Ohtani is the first one to gets one before Soto does. But I think Soto needs to really. I totally agree with this strategy. I think this guy's worth getting a $500 million contract. If that's 500 over 15 years, which is what I think the Nationals should have offered, I think this deal may be done. But there's something to be said about being the first player ever to get a $500 million contract in a sport. And I personally I'm 100% on Soto's side here. And I guess I'm also on the Nationals side. Let's say they sign Soto to this huge deal. Right now, the way their team is constructed, it's kind of garbage. You don't want to be stuck in a situation kind of like the Angels, where they put all this money into Mike Trout and then they can't surround him with anything. Nationals are, they don't have that LA market. They are clearly notoriously cheap when it comes to signing their big upcoming free agents, Scherzer, Bryce Harper. If you're the Nationals, you can get a massive haul for Soto between prospects, a number of other good players. And don't forget, baseball, this is a 9-man. You require a 9-man lineup when you're hitting. You require a 5-man rotation, and you require probably 6 to 8 relief pitchers. It's truly a full team sport. It's not like basketball where I'll give up the farm for a LeBron, a Giannis, and he's one of 5 players on the court at all times when he's out there. Juan Soto gets as many at bats as the 7-8 hitter most nights. Most players get 4 at bats. So if you're one of 9, your bat can only mean so much. And so for the Nationals, knowing they can probably get a haul of prospects back, they can probably get some other good players. They can hopefully get some additional, average to above average starting pitching back in a deal. I guess I'm for it on the Nationals side to say, okay, it's time to move on from Soto. He's not willing to take a hometown discount for us. And we know we can get a haul back. And if I'm Soto, I'm holding out for that $500 million contract. No questions asked. So that's where I think negotiations need to begin when he does become a free agent, or if he gets traded to a new team and they want to give him an extension. Those negotiations for me have to start at $500 million guaranteed. Biggest American contract ever in American sports history. And Juan Soto, easiest power in the game, easiest swing. Like I said, he did win the home run derby last night on a Monday. That power's not going anywhere anytime fast, ever. He's 23 years old. So you've got 10, 12 years of prime. You got another 3 to 5 years of, really easy, just good hitting, contact and power after that. So 500 mil, that's where I'm starting it. That's where I'm starting negotiations. If I'm Soto or Soto's representation, and we're going from there. But I'm excited to see kind of how that ends up shaking out. Sticking with the MLB All-Star Game, knowing that we're at the midseason, this is the Midsummer Classic, the MLB All-Star Game. It kind of, sort of signifies when baseball really starts becoming important. Yeah, we're through about 8, probably 90 games right now for most teams, right around that 90 game mark. But now is when it really starts to matter. This is when teams start making playoff pushes. You'll start the trade deadline is coming up in a few weeks. So you'll see contenders start making moves. You'll also see teams that know that they're not really involved. They're not really going to be involved in the playoffs this year. They may start sending off some of their players, some of their, whether it's a utility guy that can net you back a prospect and a half, or or maybe, you know, a really high end reliever. Look at the Cubs with David Robertson. There's no reason for Robertson to remain on the Cubs at the end of the year. The Cubs could get a halfway decent haul back. I mean, we saw what they got for Craig Kimbrell last year. Why can't they get that same return for David Robertson this year, given that Robertson really is having his best season in God knows how long? I mean, a few years. So I think if you're a Cubs fan, you can absolutely be looking forward to that. You know, if you're a Cubby, but I want to, you know, while we're at the mid-season point, I want to give out my mid-season awards, and really maybe not mid-season awards. There have been some other better players than who I'm going to name, but my predictions as to how the rest of the season will finish off and who my mid-season predictions are to win these awards. I'm going to start off with the AL MVP, and he was my preseason pick, Shohei Ohtani. I mean, this guy has been absolutely off the charts all season long. As a pitcher, has a 2.38 ERA, 123 strikeouts in only 87 innings. Unbelievable. Over just this past month, he started off the season on a little bit of a pitching slump, but over this last month, he's got a 0.34 ERA. That's one run over 27 innings pitched. You have to be kidding me. That's insane. And over that span of time, over the 26.2 innings that he's pitched, he's over the last month, one run given up and 46 strikeouts. Again, 46 strikeouts in 26 2/3 innings pitched over this month. That's insanity. On top of that, of course, is his prowess as a hitter. He's 19 jacks on the year, 56 RBI. That means he's going to break that 100 RBI mark more than likely. But the stat that has really jumped out to me is his OPS with runners in scoring position. OPS it's a combination of on-base percentage plus slugging percentage. On-base percentage is how many times you get on base per 100 at bats. And then your slugging percentage is effectively average number of bases that you reach per at bat, per hit, actually. So combine those two numbers, on base plus slugging percentage, to give you your OPS. He has the highest OPS with runners in scoring position since 1972. For all you math magicians out there, that's 50 years. 50 years. And he's also a pitcher who has let up one run in the last month. This guy is right now, yes, Aaron Judge, insane amount of offensive power, 33 home runs at the break, on pace with Roger Maris to break that, that 63 home run record, AKA the most home runs ever hit in a season without steroids. But what Shohei is doing in these clutch moments with runners on scoring position, plus what he's doing on the mound, he's right now the runaway MVP for me. And I think he's going to finish off the season as the back-to-back AL MVP. Jumping over to the NL side. Yes, a couple of Cardinals, Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, are having two of the best seasons in terms of hitting in the National League. Probably the two best, just in terms of overall hitting when you combine average, look at their RBIs, look at their home run production, their power, and just overall hitters. Two tremendous corner infielders for the Cardinals, but come on, I can't give anything to the Cardinals. So I'm going to go out east, down to the Southeast, and go to a player that barely made the All-Star team. He was an All-Star team alternate, and that's Austin Riley of the Atlanta Braves, third baseman for the Braves. Right now, 27 jacks, 285 average. He had 33 home runs last season. He's already at 27. So he's on pace to destroy that number. But really, most importantly for me, he's been a top 5 hitter in all of baseball over the last month. Again, we're talking a month, 9 home runs over a month, incredible production, backing that up with a 365 average. But what really, I think, gives Austin Riley a true shot at winning this award is how hot the Braves have gotten since he started heating up. He started off the season pretty cold, not really off to what I would have expected Austin Riley, how I would have expected him to start off. But since he started getting hot, the Braves have started getting hot. And they were way back. Nobody was even in contention with the Mets earlier on in the season. They're only 2.5 back of the Mets. And right now it looks like the Braves may have the upper hand in that division. So got to give it up to Austin Riley, especially, again, the way he's played over this last month. Incredibly encouraging if you're a Braves fan. They may have a chance to go back-to-back this year if, as World Series champs this year, if Austin Riley can continue to deliver that how in the way that he has over this past month. Moving over to the AL Cy Young. Did you really think that I was going to say Justin Verlander when this season started? I have to say it's got to be the front runner right now has to be Justin Verlander. A 1.89 ERA, 12 wins on the season. That puts him on pace to break that 20 win mark, which you don't see a whole lot of 20 game winners nowadays. And he's leading a squad in the Astros that some teams or some people may say are the best team in the AL. Yeah, the Yankees have the better record, but the Astros have pretty much everything it takes. And I would make the argument that they've got a better rotation than the Yankees do. So you could definitely say that the Astros may be the favorite to make the World Series in the AL. But it's incredible to think about what Verlander's doing, coming off Tommy John, signing that 1-year deal with the Astros at age 39. And now it looks like he's stronger than ever. Looks like he's at, kind of in the same form that he did back a decade ago when he was a Tiger and that dominant. Just incredible what JV is doing right now. And I don't see any reason for him to slow down unless age and catches up to him, or that elbow, that newly repaired elbow starts getting sore towards the end of the season. It's going to be pretty hard, I think, to overtake a player that's got these types of numbers, this 1.89 ERA, and on such a achieved squad like the Astros. Over to the NL side for the Cy Young Award and who I think is going to win it. As tempting as it is to say, as a Brewers fan, to go back-to-back with Corbin Burnes, I'm going to give it to Miami Marlins pitcher Sandy Alcantara. That's how you actually say his name, Alcantara, not the white Americanized version, Alcantara. It's Alcantara. But, it's what I really, really appreciate about Alcantara is he's just got like an old school mentality. He's routinely pitching into the 8th and 9th innings. And if you've been watching baseball over the last few years, most of your top end starters, including a guy like Corbin Burnes, really get through 6 and hand it off to the bullpen. That's kind of the mentality of a lot of these new age, the way that managers manage nowadays. Alcantara is giving you, a solid, getting into the 8th inning, getting into the 9th inning, finishing complete games, shutouts. You don't see that. And there has to be I personally seriously appreciate that. And not only is he this workhorse, but he's also got the stats to back it up. 1.76 ERA and, leading the MLB in innings pitched. So he's got the limiting the runs to back up the pure workhorse that he is. So Marlins have to be pretty damn pumped about having an ace, hopefully stick around that team. Hopefully this new Marlins ownership is willing to actually pay up for a guy, because Alcantara, if he's out in the open market, this guy's going to get paid. So hopefully the Marlins are going to be willing to do that and pay this guy what he's worth, because he can be that, that workhorse, that true anchor, in for this Marlins rotation for years to come. Moving on to the AL Rookie of the Year. This one was the easiest decision of all awards for me to give out. Easiest one across the board, and that's going to be Julio Rodriguez, Mariners stud center fielder. Yeah, Bobby Witt, I was super high on him going into this season, and he is actually having a very good year, 13 jacks, 17 steals. But what Julio is doing, what Rodriguez is doing is just off the charts. I mean, he's topping him in both those categories with 16 jacks, 21 steals, has a very realistic chance of breaking that 100 RBI and 100 runs scored mark. So those are really, those are two incredibly impressive stats. If he's able to break that 100 runs scored, 100 RBI mark as a rookie, as a 20, I believe he's 21, insanely impressive. So, and on top of that, plays really good defense out in center field. On top of that, this dude really put on a show last night on Monday night at the Home Run Derby. 81 total home runs hit at the Home Run Derby yesterday. Opened up his opening round, 32 home runs in the opening round of the Home Run Derby. Guy just can hit it all across the yard. More of a pull hitter, but has the pop to hit it anywhere. 32 home runs in one round, 81 on the night. Yeah, he did not win it. He lost it to Juan Soto, who, again, I think is the best hitter in the league. So no shame there. But Julio Rodriguez really put on a show, made himself a truly national star. And to be able to do that as a rookie, the guy's got swag. He's a true 5-tool player, can do anything in the field, can do anything in the batter's box. Great speed. Again, 21 steals. He didn't even start off this season on the opening day roster. And for him to come out right out of the box, baseball pun, right out of the box and do this, insanely impressive. And then just real quickly going to touch on NL Rookie of the Year. I mean, right now there is no super clear front runner at the moment. Right now, the two Vegas favorites are two Atlanta Braves, starting pitcher Spencer Strider and outfielder Michael Harris. But I'm gonna say by year's end, it's gonna be Pirates shortstop O'Neal Cruz. Dude is a 6'7" shortstop. Have you ever seen that big of a shortstop in the MLB? I don't think that I have. That's the same size as Aaron Judge, and he's a shortstop. His wow factor is just absolutely incredible. He's registered nearly 100 miles an hour on the gun, just throwing to first base on a grounder from shortstop. So the wow factor is off the charts with this guy. Incredible future. For the Pirates with, having him and keep Ryan Hayes anchoring the left side of that infield. If you're a Pirates fan, you got to be pretty pumped about the future, at least for those two players, for hopefully the next decade for your own sake. But yeah, that's, one last thing just to wrap up. That's all I've got for my midseason awards. One last thing though, to wrap up this baseball segment. MLB Draft happened on Saturday night. First overall pick, Matt Holliday's son, Jackson Holliday, a shortstop. Number 2 overall pick, Drew Jones, Andrew Jones' son. So first time in MLB history that sons of former MLB players went 1 and 2. Pretty cool story. We've seen this now. Vlad Guerrero Jr., obviously son of Vlad, and also in Toronto, Cavan Biggio, son of Craig Biggio, and Bo Bichette is the son of another former MLB player. So gonna start. I mean, we're seeing more of this, and it's, it leads to some pretty fun storylines. We also saw Carl Crawford's son go in the first round. So really, really just kind of some fun stuff happening. And for us that grew up with, for me, I grew up with Andrew Jones being one of the best center fielders in all of baseball, with just an, unbelievable defensive player, 8 Gold Gloves, plus mad power, multiple seasons with over 30 home runs. Incredibly impressive. Andrew Jones was he was just so much damn fun to watch. And it sounds like Drew Jones, his son, has a very similar skill set. Obviously, we'll see if he turns into a borderline Hall of Famer the way Andrew Jones did, but pretty fun. Just some fun storylines that have followed that we can follow after this draft. One last storyline: the Brewers drafted a switch pitcher. He's truly ambidextrous. Can throw from both sides of the mound. Throw left-handed against lefties, throw right-handed against righties. Never seen a player like this reach the major leagues. He was an 18th round pick, so we'll see if he ever makes it there. But if you know anything about the Brewers pitching staff or pitching, the pitching training room, they've turned a lot of very raw prospects, Corbin and Burns being one of them, into incredibly awesome dynamic pitchers. I would love to see this guy, this 18th round pick. I cannot pronounce his name, so I'm not even going to try. I would love to see him in the bullpen when, that you can't pinch hit against this guy and go for a lefty righty matchup advantage. He'll just switch to his other hand. It's insane. I mean, haven't seen this in how many decades. So really, really fun stuff. I hope that this guy works out and ends up making it to the bigs, because this is so just one additional headline from the draft that I thought it's just another really fun story, something that's going to be fun to follow. But that'll do it for today's show. Hopefully Josh is going to be back for the next one. We'll be getting into a little bit more fantasy football talk. I didn't want to do a deep dive in fantasy just so you get my thoughts. That ain't no fun. So we'll do a dive into fantasy once he returns. Also continue the golf talk, and then also talk about some QBs that we think may have a lot of pressure on them going into this season, and kind of talk about what we think may be the future of each of these players. If they're going to be, are they going to be starter? Baker Mayfield, for example, do we think he's going to be a starter for the rest of his career? Does he have 1 year left is this his final season to kind of prove it that he can be a starter? Is he going to be a bridge guy? We'll get more into that on, with some of these quarterbacks that do have a lot of pressure on them. And then again, talk more fantasy, talk more PGA, and any other storylines. We're still waiting on a Deshaun Watson decision, for Christ's sake. So hopefully we can get, hopefully Josh starts feeling better by the end of the week. We can crank out another episode, but in the meantime, hopefully this Just Jellin episode did enough for you to hinder those dead arm sports cravings that I know you're all feeling. You can make sure to find us on our socials, Twitter and Instagram at Dead Arm Sports. Find us on Facebook by searching Dead Arm Sports. Definitely make sure you get onto that YouTube page. Subscribe to our channel. Hit that bell next to the subscribe button. Ding. And you'll get notifications whenever we go live, whenever we put out any new YouTube content. So make sure to find us on all 4 of those social platforms. You can also make sure you hit us up on Anchor. Hit up the Dead Arm Sports podcast on Anchor. They allow us to do all of our editing, all of our publishing, all of our, anything podcast related. That's all done on Anchor for free. You can find Anchor just by searching on the web, search anchor.fm, or in your Apple App Store or Google Play Store by searching Anchor. That'll wrap it up. We'll see you in the promised land.